What is the CFR and why is it important for a language teaching profession? Well, the CFR is the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. According to Cambridge, it is an international standard for describing language ability from A1 to beginners up to C2 for those who have mastered the language. The results are given after doing a standardized test that gives learners their CFR level. Each level includes a description of what the group level is able to do and how they understand the input that they receive. For example, the B1 level can only understand the main points of clear standard input on familiar matters regularly encountered in work, school, leisure, etc. So, why is it important? Is because each student learning style is different as well as their proficiency. There are other aspects to contribute the learner's profile in a classroom, and it allows the teacher to make the necessary adjustment in their speech and writing to make instructions and materials understandable for the students. Now, what is your opinion regarding the move from skills to modes of communication, especially moving from referring to speaking writing skills to the process of production? Traditionally, we have talked about language in terms of skills, speaking, writing, listening, and reading, but there's a shift happening. Instead of is isolating skills, we're focusing on modes of communication like producing, interacting, and reception. Why does this matter? Well, because communication isn't just about producing words or sentences. It's about engaging in a process of conveying and understanding messages, using production strategies to make sure that our message be accurate, fluent, and coherent while adapting context. Moving from skills to modes highlights the dynamic nature of communication, making our teaching more realistic and aligned with how language is actually used.
Adding to what my partner already said, language in real life is not used as separated items, as there is no production without reception. People who learn the language use it to achieve their personal goals, like giving information or just having conversations with people. So we should not teach it as isolated items. Modes help students to learn the language by context. They focus on why and how we communicate instead of only grammar and vocabulary. Because being honest, speaking is an spontaneous action. And yes, we have that knowledge that we should speak like correctly using the correct grammar. But rather than trying to sound correct and being perfect in everything, you're just trying to communicate something. You're trying to give a message. Adding to that, learners recognize that reading and listening are active processes that require thinking and interpretation. Final question. How has this unit changed your understanding of production? Before seeing the content of this unit, I understand production as only the action of coming out with something, as is it writing and speaking. But that's not how it is, because in that way it means that maybe you are just repeating things that you have seen in the books, but that's not how it works. To produce a language, we have to use the correct strategies and also take into consideration our background and how can we make ourselves more understandable for other people to get your real message. The steps or strategies to follow are planning, that is to organize your ideas, compensating to overcome gaps in your codes, in your message, and finally monitoring, that encourage self-correction to use the language with more clarity. Thank you for your attention.